Good morning and welcome. It's Tuesday. It's 8:30. It's the 21st day of June 2022. It's 64 degrees and hazy. Shot up to 80 yesterday, which was not too bad, but it was very muggy and hazy. Like literally, cut the air with a knife muggy. And while I don't mind the heat, I hate muggy. Why do I live someplace where I absolutely hate the weather? I don't know. You don't care. All right. Promised we would take a second look at this and try and do a review. I would love to do more reviews. Unfortunately, I don't have the setup. I need a thingy to hold the camera. I don't even know what those are called, or what kind of camera, just all I've got is this piece of crap little thing that I found at Seth's Games and Anime that Seth had me. It's good for this and this, but, you really need something that you could just flip over it and do screen within screen. So as much as I would love to review things, right now I don't have the setup. And of course I don't know how to edit, because the editing courses cost money that I don't have. Support me. But okay. So what don't I like about this so far? The fact that the NPCs, example characters, are in the middle. Okay, so I don't like stats, lore, stats, lore, stats, lore. That's just me. I think I'm probably in a very slim minority that I like my stuff to be very linear. I want all the I either want all the lore in the front and the character building stuff in the back, or I want all the character building stuff in the front and all the fluff lore in the back, and I want it to be very linear and easily I can tell the difference. Why? Probably something to do with my OCD, autism, or just the way, that literally is just the way my brain works. So I don't know. But apparently, I'm in a small minority. I think a lot of other people like this sort of lore stuff. Now, if you could use the lore to show you how to use the stuff, that I like. And you used to see a lot of that. You don't really see the example character build a lot anymore. I'm not sure why. But there, especially in games like this, there would always be like an example character. Superhero games, modern games, space games, tongue-in-cheek games, D&D and fantasy games, some, but generally no. That's something I liked. You don't see it a lot anymore. Okay, so can we build Spider-Man? Because I think that's the ultimate test of any role-playing game is, can you build Batman / Spider-Man? Not and can you build any character you can imagine? But for this specific genre, can I build Batman, Spider-Man, using these rule books? And since this is based heavily on a certain style of Japanese live-action animation, and there was, in case you didn't know, a Japanese Spider-Man. Thanks to the current No Way Home Spider Multiverse, the Japanese Spider-Man is getting a lot more recognition. He's always been sort of floating out there in pop culture. Some people knew that there was a Japanese Spider-Man. And, of course, there's Italian Spider-Man, which is hilarious. But a lot of people knew there was a Japanese Spider-Man, but a lot of people didn't. And when people think Japanese Spider-Man, they don't really know what Japanese Spider-Man was, because he had a giant robot. He shot people with machine guns. He referred to himself as the emissary of hell. Yeah, so can we build Japanese Spider-Man using this system? Well, let's look at an example character. So we've got, who looks interesting? Y3K. Okay. So she is a 6 of diamonds. She is a gadgeteer / magician. She is a power level street vigilante. Her priority dice is D6. Her triumph dice is 5. She's got an ego of D8, a health of D6, a mobility of D4. Her powers are magic, D8. She's got a cell phone from the future. Force field generation from her cell phone. Energy control from her cell phone. She's got some skills. Academics, pop culture, technology. She's got a benefit called Gadgeteer and Lucky. She's got drawbacks called age and public identity. Her signature moves are unlimited data plan and all access slam and cam. All right, and her origin is she was a full-time gamer. She led a relatively quiet life. She discovered a time portal at her science lab. She stepped through to the year 3000. She grabbed a discarded cell phone and leapt back through the portal before it winked out. Though only a knockoff brand, the phone is tremendously advanced by current standards. So advanced, the various apps give Yasu seemingly magical powers. And some people are after her because they want to reverse engineer it. Of course, the only problem with this, other than, kind of interesting that you could find a cell phone from the future that would have, I guess, nanites to be able to do things that are almost magical. What happens when it runs out of energy? Because I don't think a charger USB thing is going to work if it has enough power to have nanites and rearrange reality. All right, so that's our example character. Now we need to look up what all these things mean. So let's go to building a character. Okay? Because that's the tell. I have an idea. Can I build it in this game? And is it easy to understand if somebody would sit down and never play this game before? So, first we need our card value. So you need a deck of cards for this. And dice. And I bet you there's a special deck of cards designed specifically for this game that are going to cost you like $60. Ugh, cringe. But, yeah, Savage Worlds uses a deck of cards and dice. It also has an option where you can choose between the deck of cards or the dice. And it definitely says, you just use, because of the build of Savage World based upon Deadlands, it encourages you to use a normal deck of cards because, of course, the Deadlands mechanics was all based upon decks of cards and poker, and because just playing card games in Westerns. So, yeah. So we're going to randomly draw a card, and that will give us our power level. You only want one of each card in the deck, and once somebody draws that card, they need to keep it. So no two people can have the same card, is what I'm reading. Each player draws a single card from the same deck. These cards are not returned. That assures no one gets the same results. And then I guess you keep the card while the character's alive, and then give it back if something happens to the character. I don't know. I mean, are we still... Yeah, we have to read further. That determines the character's rank and starting powers, and noted on table 1.0. The card suit suggests some general hero archetypes detailed on page 8-9. However, these are just suggestions. All right. So our card values, of course, are 2 through 6, 7 through 10, the face cards, and the ace, and those directly related to power levels. We're building Japanese SpiderMan, so we're going to go local guardian 710, and then the suits represent certain archetypes. So clubs are bricks, pugilist slashers. Diamonds are battle suit blasters, gadgeteer types. Hearts are per second suit. I don't know what that means. Spades are acrobats, crime fighter, ninjas, and jokers don't also have a thing. Except all the numbers are associated with a suit except for Joker, which isn't associated with a suit. So I guess Joker is just your everyman character, your jack of all trades, you can be whatever you want, as opposed to these sort of represent a certain specific archetype. Do I like that? Do I not like that? I don't know. I mean, I draw a clubs. It's suggesting that your character might be a brick, but it doesn't have to be. And you don't get any bonuses for drawing that deck towards that archetype. So if I draw clubs, I don't get any bonuses if I want to build a brick. It's just the suggested. You could build a brick because you drew a clubs, but you don't have to, which means the cards are sort of meaningless other than kind of giving you a general idea of archetype if you haven't thought of one. But that could easily have been replaced with a random table. But, let's be clever and use cards and dice. And, of course, all the characters are represented in the artwork by their card suit. As you can see, like this guy's got a Jack of Hearts and stuff like that. So I guess that's the rating system that the organization uses to rate the supers. Similar to, My Hero Academia and other things like that. Oh, the Ace, Sandwich Man, and the Club Broccoli Woman have both shown up to fight the Ace level villain, Onion. So I get what they're trying to go because of the feel and because it gives you, that recognizable suit idea that is very popular in this type of anime and showed you in cartoons and that sort of feel, and sort of it implies that there's an organization that is ranking these and people who rank them online. Oh yes, Broccoli Man's definitely an ace. No, he's totally not an ace. He's a joker. I don't know. I saw Broccoli Man in action once, and he's only a 7. All right, so I don't have a deck of cards I do have a deck of cards around here somewhere. I don't feel like opening it. So we're just going to pick Local Guardian, and since we're going for a Japanese Spider-Man who is basically a ninja with a machine gun and a giant robot, he's going to be a Spade. So Local Guardian, Spade. Then we go to Backstory and Origins. While we're building Japanese Spider-Man, his origin is a group of aliens chose him to be Japanese Spider-Man to fight demons. And he bills himself as the emissary of hell sent to Earth to send the demons back home. And he also got a motorcycle, and later on, he gets a giant robot. And just for simple trivia, Japanese Spider-Man is actually the first time we saw a giant robot in this style of live action. So Japanese Spider-Man's giant robot predates a giant robot being seen in Sentai or Power Rangers. So Japanese Spider-Man had it first. Okay, heroic tropes. He is a Sentai hero, even though he's on... Actually, I think he's sort of more of a henshin hero, because he's not in a group, he's by himself, and he transforms, even though his transformation, if you've ever seen the Japanese Spider-Man transformation, is he has a little thing to summon his suit. His suit then just falls out of the air, and then you see a scene of him zipping it up, and then suddenly he's in his suit. So it's a very, it's very low tech. So we'll say he's a henshin hero. Okay. Does he have any benefits or drawbacks? I would say he has a drawback that he must transform. Does that give him anything? No. All right. So now we pick his powers. Well, he's got a little bit of armor, but mostly his powers are martial arts and stuff like that. And then, of course, a motorcycle and a giant robot. So our suggested powers in here are super charisma, armor, elemental control, elemental form, energy control, ninja magic equipment, summoning, super weapon, and then we have enhancements like non-lethal, effects ethereal. We have limitations, and that's it. And that's it. So, I guess Japanese Spider-Man would be ninja powers. And then you add, okay, yeah. First, a very limited selection of powers and no skills. And then you sort of just have to make stuff up and then decide how many dice each one goes to. So if we're going to look at the example character. No. Okay. I see what they're trying to do. They're definitely copying Savage Worlds with this. There are no suggested skills. You just sort of make them up. I mean, let's check. Yeah. All right, I see. Yeah. God, I wanted this to be better. A lot of this relies on the player character and the DM. I mean, the player and the DM agreeing. Because, I mean, we know that I drew a local guardian. So we'll say my card value is a 8 of spades. We're building my character around ninja magic, super agility, wall crawling, the webs, and the motorcycle and the giant robot. I am a henshin hero because I have to transform. My only drawback is, I have to go through this elaborate transformation scene because it's Japanese pre-Sentai, so I got to do the whoosh, whoosh, swoot, zip. Behold, I am SpiderMan, sent from emissary from hell. And then to send you. And then I also have a machine gun for some reason. So yeah, ninja magic. Everything I have is built around ninja magic and fighting styles. But then where I got to build everything. So how many dice do I have for being a ninja magic thing? It doesn't say. Maybe it says in the balance in the back. It doesn't. Like, we know she has a priority dice of D6 and a triumph dice of 5. Where is that? Where does it tell me what the priority dice is? Where? I'm looking. Okay, I can't find it. Where? Okay, let's go to the appendix. There is no appendix. Let's go to the table of contents. All right, let's go to the example character creation. Kyoto takes the mentalist archetype and decides to focus on her powers first. She puts her highest dice, 2 times D6, into Mind Blast and Illusion, which are bumped by her activation limitation to D8. She toys with the idea of taking force field generation, so she uses illusions and defense. Astral travel seems perfect, so she invests a D4, bumped to a D6 by activation. Okay, I understand that you're copying Savage World, but where are the rules that tell me how many dice I get? Because Spades doesn't tell me, it just tells me typical powers and typical archetypes. This doesn't tell me what dice I get. Backstory doesn't give me any dice. Tropes doesn't give me any dice. Benefits and drawbacks. Sure, I can take a drawback to up a dice. I've taken the must transform. We go to page 36, it says. The transformed character ascends to the next power level. Okay. Increased priority dice. Okay. See page 31. Okay. Promoting from one level to the next level gives you the next dice up. So if my starting dice is D4, there's a D6, but how many do I get? Because the example says, wait, here's a table. No, that's just about kaiju. Okay, the example says she puts her two highest dice, 2 times 2d6 to split between something, and she puts them both into Mind Blast, which then gets upped 1 to d8. But again, it doesn't say how many dice I get anywhere. Okay, again, let's go to my favorite villain group in here, the boy band that are really demons. Okay, it says they have these things, but it doesn't say where they got them. Where is the thing that tells me how many dice I get to divide by these stats? Okay, because I'm assuming that I have to divide a pool of dice amongst all these things, my stats, my skills, my whatever, but there's nothing in here that tells me that I can find that tells me this. Okay, we've gone through every page. There is nothing in here that tells me how many dice I get, and there's no appendix. I really wanted to like this game. I like the idea. But where are the rules? Where are the rules of character building? Oh, Jesus. I guess in order to understand the rules for this game, I have to buy the other game. So basically what this is an expansion for a pre-existing game called Triumphant. And if I want to play this game, I gotta have Triumphant. 22 minutes wasted going through this with you to understand that all I needed to know was, in order to play this game, you have to have the other game. Because the other game explains everything. So basically, this is a source book. But it doesn't bill itself as a source book. It bills itself as a standalone game. Fuck you, Shonen Punch.